everyone, so today I'm going to do a one brand focus on the Flower Beauty brand. It was created by Drew Barrymore, so every time in this video I'm referring to her or she, that is who I'm talking about. I have been a big fan of the brand for quite a few years. I've accumulated quite a few products, mostly bought by me. A few of them were PR. So keep watching. I'm going to take all this off and you can see me start with a fresh face as I do almost an entirely full face of Flower Beauty makeup. So keep watching and I'll walk you through my favorites and my not so favorites from Flower Beauty. So let's start with a favorite that I will only say this once. If you've been watching my channel a long time, a lot of these products are going to be familiar to you. So one that's been mentioned many, many times is this foundation. Flower Beauty Light Illusion Luminous Makeup Nude Skin Feel Foundation. I wear it in the shade Porcelain L1 in the fall, winter, early spring. And then if there's a faux tan going on, I wear it in the shade 2, Ivory L2. The shade range is okay. It's okay. It's not great. For a foundation that's basically a drugstore, solid glass bottle, rose gold highlights, pump. It looks like a much more expensive foundation than it is. I use 2 pumps. You really don't need 2 pumps. I don't use the whole thing, but I like having a lot. Now, this is brand new and this is why it looks all clean and pretty. This is the Flower Beauty Sponge Dry. Look at the size of it. When I get it wet, it gets to be about the size of my whole side of my face. I like the sponge. I like the way that it feels when it's wet. I like that one side is perfectly flat, so you can really get in on the sides of your face. The bottom of it is perfectly flat, so you really can get a lot of, between this side, the side that a little bit comes to a point, you can get in there. The problem is it inflates so largely that other than all around the face, it's hard to get in near your eyes and around your nose and stuff. But it is a really nice sponge. It's a little bit contradictory. The reason this is brand new, I'm thinking it was Rowdy. One of my dogs ate the one I had. So I like to put mine on with a brush, which is what I'm gonna do. This foundation is definitely on the luminous side, satin type finish. It is not a matte finish. I know oily skin people who use this and love it, but I would say maybe save your receipt. Definitely for dry to normal skin, it's a non-issue. It's a beautiful finish. It also mixes well with other foundations. So I have mixed it with more of a matte foundation for longer wear, like the Estee Lauder Double Wear if I want an extremely long day. But this wears on me personally very well and for a very long time. But I have found that most foundations wear on me a very long time. And I think that's because of my dry skin. So I might not be the best example for longevity. I'd say it's definitely medium, a good solid medium coverage. If you want to sheer it out, definitely use some sort of sponge. But this is actually my second bottle of the foundation. I rarely use up a whole bottle of foundation because I get so much sent to me and I'm always trying out new stuff, and I bought 2 of them. I love it that much. Now let's talk concealer. I love the concealer. I love the coverage. Again, don't love the shade range. So the lightest shade is what I have. It's the Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer. I have it in the shade 1, I believe. L1, L2 Fair. It's fine for, it's generally fine for blemishes, but for under my eyes, I really don't feel like it's quite light enough, but we'll use it everywhere. Just so you can see, I feel like this doesn't quite match up with the foundation. It runs more neutral to cool toned than the actual foundation. I kind of am curious to try the next shade up. I haven't done that yet, just to see if it's a little light. It's the next shade up, but it might be a little more warm tone. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it doesn't actually blend perfectly with the foundation. But I love the coverage and I love the finish, so I do keep going back to it. Now before I put on the under eye version, I'm just gonna do some Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Brightener, because I do that. I'm trying to stick with drugstore price point anyway, because I do that no matter what under eye concealer I'm using, whether it's Flower Beauty or Charlotte Tilbury. I like to brighten first. That's just me. Just so you can see how it works under my eye. I feel like it's okay, but I like something a little bit brighter under my eyes. And I think that's a criticism of this brand, is that the shade range doesn't go light enough, and it probably more than likely doesn't go dark enough either. If you're middle of the road, middle of the bell curve kind of person, the shade range is just fine. Now before I powder, I did pick this up. It's one of the new Flower blush bombs. It is a cream liquid blush. I really wanted the more pinky shade. Jessica Braun has been raving about it, and guess what? It's sold out. So I picked up the other lightest shade, which is Nectar. It's more of a corally shade. A little of this goes a long way. I'm just gonna do that much and just dot it on each apple of the cheek. That's not even the whole thing. There's a lot left. And then I'm gonna take my foundation brush and kind of move that around a little bit. I think for a cream or liquid blush, this is really workable. I personally don't love the cream blush concept. I'm gonna dab a little bit more. But it's really easy to work with as long as you remember a little goes a long way. It does blend nicely. I really want to try the pinched color, but someone sold it out. There are a lot more brighter options if you go that way. My personal preference is for a very subtle blush. Now we're gonna powder. So I had the Flower Beauty press powder and loose powder. I did a big declutter. It was okay. I mean, it was fine. The loose powder is pretty good, but it's not so good that it beats all the other 8 gajillion powders that I have. So I did declutter it. If you're gonna go for a drugstore type price point, the Maybelline Fit Me powder is a far better option, I feel. And if you wanted something more expensive, there's just so many to choose from. So I'm just gonna powder really quickly with something that is not Flower Beauty, and we'll move on with the rest of the review. Here comes another favorite with a caveat. This is the Flower Beauty Lift and Sculpt Contouring Palette. So as you can see, it has the bronzer, blush, and highlighter. I have it in the shade light to medium. There's also a medium to dark. Obviously that is darker. And so here's the caveat. I find that these are very similar, especially the highlighters, in consistency to the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, the pressed version. So they are not the most sturdy, and I did shatter my first one. So I went out and bought this. Weirdly, this is one of those Flower Beauty products that is not available at Ulta, but it is available at Walmart. So if you're looking for where to pick this up, I'll put everything in the description box. But I just traveled recently, and even though this looks very bright, it blends very pretty. But I think I'm gonna skip this blush because I want to show you one of the other blushes that I really, really like. So I'm gonna just use the bronzer. And weirdly, as far as I can tell, this is the only bronzer that Flower Beauty has. They don't have a bronzer, as far as I can tell, just all by itself, which is very strange to me. Now, I like to put highlighter on next, and there is a really beautiful highlighter in there. I will swatch that one for you. But then this is one of my all-time favorite highlighting palettes, and this is the Shimmer and Strobe highlighting palette. And as you can see, well, there used to be a brush in here, and then there are 3 colors, like a kind of, I don't know, champagne, a rose gold, and then a true gold. I tend to dip into these 2 the most, really this one the most, and they are so pigmented. I'm barely touching them, and that's how pigmented they are. You can see how pigmented they are. And then just to compare, so that is the one from the blush and bronze palette, and then these three are from the highlighting palette. I think I'm gonna go back to the blush palette. I think it's sort of this middle of the road shade. Use a light hand. There's a lot here. It is very pigmented. I don't think there's a better drugstore highlighter on the market, to be honest, in a powder form. And honestly, I will reach for this over almost every single one of my high-end highlighters as well. I cannot recommend. Flower Beauty makes a good powder highlighter if you like not subtle. Whoa, let's blend this a little. Now for blush, I'll just swatch this, and swatching blushes is it just never works because this is not what it looks like. It goes on so chalky on the back of my hand and it looks so bright. But when I put it on with a brush, do you see just that faint pink glow? It's so pretty and bright, but it's It's not chalky on the skin. It's just a nice natural flush. But I have two of the Flower Pot blushes. I have Warm Hibiscus, which was the first one that I picked up, and I love it. It's sort of like, it reminds me of NARS Orgasm. It's a little peachy pink sheen with a little gold to it. And then I also have the shade Sweet Pea, which is really more of a matte basic pink. Because I use that coral orangey blush, the cream one, I'm going to go with Warm Hibiscus and just pop that on. I do think that Flower Beauty makes a standout blush product as well. These flower pots I've had for quite a few years and they are fantastic. So that is the face done. Now let's do brows and get into eyes. So I don't have the brow pencil. These were sent to me. They are called the Flower Beauty, of course, Brow Vixen Tattoo Effect Stain. And basically what they are is a hard, like almost like a calligraphy pen marker. And I have them in the shade Blonde and Taupe. Blonde and Taupe. Hard to discern them right there. Blonde is on the bottom. My taupe is starting to dry up. Something I don't like. You take the cap off. You gotta just set it down. So it's really a thick marker on one side, and you can turn it to the side and draw really fine brush hairs. It's a really neat concept. Again, not something I've seen really in this price point, but unfortunately I think mine has dried up. I'm gonna pick up the blonde one, which I know is too warm on me, but it has ink left in it, so it will work. This is not as forgiving as a pencil because it's a stain. It's also not great at individual brush hairs because it's a marker, so they're just not going to look quite like a pencil. So I like the concept, but I feel like there's so many drugstore options that are a little more user-friendly, a little easier to use, that I would probably skip the pencils. I'm just gonna set them and maybe lighten them a little bit with my favorite brow mascara, the NYX Brow Mascara in Blonde. Now we get to the eyeshadow portion, another one of my favorites. Now I have purchased before, I think I don't see it at Walmart anymore. They used to make quads, and those were really pretty, really creamy, soft pigmented shadows, but I think they're phasing those out, so I don't really wanna highlight that, and I have decluttered mine. I've also bought, did I buy it? No. Flower Beauty sent me kind of their version of the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look palettes, and it was like 3 shadows, highlighter, bronzer / blush. I know other people really like them. I don't care for them. What I love, love, love are her shimmer and shade eyeshadow palettes. I have 2. There's at least one more. This is the Warm Natural. These are very purple tone, but warm purples for the most part, so I find very wearable. There are some cool tones in there, but there's stuff to balance it out. I love it. But my all-time most used probably palette ever, top 3 for sure, is the Shimmer and Shade eyeshadow palette in Golden Natural. Look at those shades. You have some beautiful matte shades, some great for mid-tone crease, outer corner, gorgeous shimmer shades, a great highlighter shade. The only thing that makes this palette less than perfect, I could really use a satin or matte brow bone shade. I am going to use this palette to do my eyes today, so you can see it in action. It actually has some ways to do the eye. So you know what? Let's do one of the ones on the back, shall we? Let's go with Sunshine Nude. So number 2 is the inner corner, all over the lid and under the brow. So number 2, let's do that. Let's follow the directions. So number 2, it says all over lid, inner corner. I usually don't do all over the lid first, but let's do it. Inner corner and under brow. Well, that's where we're gonna have to disagree. I am not putting this shimmer shade under my brow. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna follow it, but I'm gonna use a different brush. I'm going to use a fluffy brush to do it on the brow, so it's a little less frosty. Then it tells me to do number 4 above the crease. Okay, that was the one I was gonna use in my crease anyway. Probably could have laid this down first. Now it wants me to do the 3rd shade, this one, in the outer corner, which I don't usually read. Well, I have. There's a couple that are a little bit darker that I would do in my outer corner. So the day this is airing, it will be hopefully on a Friday if I get it all right. And the plan is, even though I just had these lashes put on, I'm coming back for the 2-week, I had an appointment for a 2-week refill, but I think I'm gonna just have them, as I'm filming this, removed. They are making me crazy. These are my lash extensions I'm referring to. I should have been more clear. I think they look beautiful, and this will be a whole video, but they are, for me, a pain in the you-know-what. And as much makeup and as high maintenance as you think I am, I'm actually very low tech. So if I can't slap it on and move on, I'm not interested in having it. Okay, and then number 9 on the upper lash line, which is a really, really dark shade. It's this dark brown, not the darkest, but the second darkest brown. I am gonna add to this a little bit and put some under the lower lash line as well. Here's a case in point. Getting to my lash line with these extensions on is not easy. I don't have a lot of lid space to begin with, and these things curl up so long that it's hard. I almost have to come in over them. I know this is a first world problem. I'm gonna take that original crease color and run that under my eye. I just got some of that dark brown. Very creamy, very pigmented, so you do have to tap off your brush. Also gonna take the lightest shade in this palette, this one right here. Where are you? Right there. And I'm gonna add that as an inner corner highlight as well. I think this is really pretty, but I wanna take it up a notch and use what I normally use. So for my outer corner, I like to use one of these two kind of shimmery browns. I find them to be gorgeous. I'm gonna use the darker of the two. I guess that would be shade 8. Tap it off. I do find these to be incredibly creamy and pigmented and easy to work with. Now, I don't really feel like I need eyeliner, mostly because of these lash extensions. You can't even see my lower lids, my lash line, I should say. But I do need to talk about these. I've used these a lot. You've seen them a lot. These are the Flower Beauty Vinyl Eyes Glossy Gel Eyeliners. They're not gel, they're pencils. I have them, well, the actual shades are black, purple, green, and brown. I cannot get enough of these. My all-time favorite is this bronzed out. It's like a dark brown. And I'm gonna try to get this on my lash line. Getting it on is not really the problem with these extensions. It's getting it off. But I find this eyeliner formula to be very creamy, very pigmented, very easy to apply, and it stays put. Let's talk mascara. One of my favorite mascaras is from Flower Beauty. I recently decluttered it because I'd had it far longer than the 3 months, and since I have lash extensions, don't need to run out and buy a new tube, although maybe I will be. My favorite of their lash formulas is the Lash Warrior. There is a deep black. It is just thick and voluminous and black, and it will match up to any other mascara I think on the market. It's great. I currently, like I said, don't have it, so I'm just really quickly going to pop on another mascara that's in that same price point, the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, because I don't need any mascara on the top. So like a fool, I decluttered all the lip liners Flower Beauty sent me except for 2. And again, they are my favorite kind. You don't need to sharpen them. They are in the shade Nude. These are both Petal Pout. So we're gonna go backwards a little bit. I got a brand new camera. I'm still figuring out settings, and it turns itself off without telling you. Anyway, 2 lip liners, one's already on. They are in the shades Beige and Nude. Just to show you, Beige is the really, really light one, and Nude is the one that I'm pointing to right here. And I have put Nude on, and the pros are it's super creamy and easy to apply. The con is, because of that, it doesn't last a particularly long time on the lips. So I would say out of all the options to purchase from Flower Beauty, skip the lip liners. Now on to lipsticks. Also going backwards a little bit, I talked about this. Flower Beauty had sent me, I think, every shade in the bunch. This is their Kiss Stick Luxury Lip Color. I have it in the shade Petal Kiss, which I have swatched smack dab in the middle of my hand there. It's a slightly brighter, warm to neutral pink, but in the tube, it does not look quite that bright. And that was one of the reasons I decluttered all of them, is because they were very, very, very bright or dead nude, like bright dead nude. I don't particularly care for those shades, so I decluttered them. What I do love, oh wait, and there's one more thing that I had mentioned, but got cut out. I did pick up, for the purpose of this video, one of their new releases, the Galaxy Glaze Holographic Lip Gloss, which is that shiny bit at the top of my hand there. It's like a nice soft peach, I'd say, peachy nude with big old chunks of gold glitter in it. And the problem is, I'm not even gonna put it on my lips. You put it on, it looks pretty for a minute, it wears off, and you just have a ring of glitter around your lips. If you're a Real Housewives of New Jersey watcher, you know what image is coming to mind right now. You look like a monkey's. Okay, anyway, if you don't watch that, you have no idea what I'm talking about, and you're missing out. What I do absolutely love from Flower Beauty, and I've talked about this for a long time, are the mix and matte duos. And I have, these were sent to me, and I have all of them. And this is one of those things where I'm really glad PR sends me stuff sometimes, because I don't know that I would have reached for these if they weren't sent to me. And they turned out to be one of my favorites. I think my favorite shade is, I feel like there's one missing. Okay, it's Tickled Pink. So what's interesting about these, it's a double-sided lip product. On one side, you have a nice lipstick. On the other side, you have the matching gloss. So Tickled Pink is probably the one I reach for the most. I love, love, love Melon Kiss. Look at that one. Super pretty wearable melon shade, very soft. And that's what I'm gonna put on today. And then this is sort of like a soft red. It's called Red Velvet. Very wearable. It looks really, really bright on the camera. I don't know why it's doing that. It's not that bright. It's more like a strawberry red. And then the matching gloss. Okay, I don't know why on camera. At my end, it's like neon red, but it's not. But for this video, let's put on Melon Kiss. These are described as matte, but they don't go on feeling matte. This one looks more matte than Tickled Pink, actually. I'm gonna top it with a little bit of the gloss. That is my whole collection, except let's finish it off. This is the Flower Seal the Deal Long Lasting Setting Spray. And I have got to tell you, this is the finest mist I have ever experienced. So fine, in fact, that I'm not sure it's actually setting my face. I mean, I just feel a general sense of coolness, but I can't actually feel any, I think there's something going on. It is so fine. I don't know if you can see that. I haven't been using it that long. I don't know. I never find these products to not last anyway, so it's kind of hard to say that it works really well. It has great reviews. I have it right now in the matte finish. There's also a dewy finish, which I would like to pick up because I don't generally enjoy a matte finish. But let's look at me with my hair down. So that is the full face. I would say that Flower Beauty is probably my favorite drugstore. And I say drugstore because it's sold at Walmart and it's sold on the drugstore side of Ulta. It is my favorite of the drugstore brands. I could do a whole look with everything just from Flower Beauty, and there are very few brands where I can go start to finish and find everything I need. The standout products to review, I know this is a very long video, the Light Illusion Foundation, the Shimmer and Shade Eyeshadow Palettes, the Shimmer and Strobe Highlighting Palette, and the Lift and Sculpt Contouring Palette. For me, those are by far the standouts. Then the next tier, I would say, are these Mix and Matte Duo Lipsticks and the concealer. Forgot. I'd say these are on the top tier also. The vinyl glossy gel eyeliners. Amazing. So overall, really, really good products. The only ones that I haven't been really impressed with, like I said, the powders were okay. The brow stain things, they're just okay. And these new holographic lip glosses, just no bueno for me. I would love to hear from you. Have you been using Flower Beauty? Do you have other products that you love that I haven't mentioned? Do you have a different opinion on how these products work for you? If you have oily skin, I'd love to hear from you. If you have younger skin, older skin, all those things make a difference. So let me know what your experience has been like. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more of these one brand videos, please let me know what brand you are interested in, and I will do my best to make that happen. It's a lot of fun for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.